Hello everyone, we are Birdie Gang. Here's our project portfolio panel. So what is portfolio panel? Portfolio panel is a new portfolio application to help students to organize their academic life and also gain insight the academic progress and achievement of their peers. Portfolio panel is also a project management tool, especially for Scrum software development process. Portfolio panel can help the Scrum team to manage their project by creating sprints with the existing project. So what does portfolio panel offer? As mentioned, portfolio panel support the Scrum software development process. Therefore, the user has the ability to create sprints with the existing project. And calendar view to help user with a better understanding of the project and for better user experience, sprint can be modified and viewed on interrupt calendar. During the software development process, the team may have some special events or a new feature must be released on a particular date. And to help the team to achieve better outcome with the project, you can also add and modify events, milestone, and deadline. Also, this can be viewed on the calendar as well. And group system. For the group system, portfolio panel allows users to maintain connection with other users by creating and inviting people to the group. And each group allows users to connect their GitLab repository, enable them to view all the comments and understand the team process. And lastly, evidence system. Portfolio panel also offers users a way of displaying evidence of their work and progress to their peers. Each user has an evidence page that is visible for all the users. And to increase the user motivation and engagement on the project, portfolio panel also support a game platform to let users are able to highlight others' evidence and the score and display their score and the ranking on the leaderboard. And here's the application demonstration. And unfortunately, one of our team member, Jamie, unable to come due to COVID. And here's the video about the one thing. I need to change the. Oh, display. Come. There you go.
This is the login page. All users are required to log in order to use the rest of the application. If they do not have an account, they can register here. Now, logging in as myself, I am able to see all of my information as well as have access to my evidence. I can also, from this page, edit my information by clicking the Edit Account button. From here, I can edit all of the fields on the right, but the username of a user cannot be changed. I can also add new photos here, profile images. So I can do this by clicking the Browse button, and I'm given a prompt to select an image. Images can also be removed from here.
The project planning page displays information about a user's ongoing project, in this case the Birdie Android game. This can be updated by selecting the Edit Project button found at the top. The project details page supports a Scrum framework. Users can add sprints that get displayed in chronological order. Sprints can also be edited and removed from the project as it goes on. On this page, users can also create events, milestones, and deadlines. These help track parts of a project's journey. They will be displayed in any sprint where their dates overlap on, and like sprints can be edited and removed from the project. A calendar page is also used to help users better visualize this information. It also allows users to update and change sprints intuitively from the page.
Now I'm going to demonstrate the group and group membership. So first let's go to the group page. And now we have there's a two default group. We have this non-number and teacher group. Now let's try to add a group. Give a short group name, change to 3, and long group name. You can see the new group has been generated on the group list. Now let's try to delete this group. And now let's try to add back again to add some user to the group. I'll give it and add group. You can see once you create a new group, there's a little toast message on the bottom. Now let's try to add some users from the non-number group. Move the user to the change to group. Okay, confirm. There's a message showing. You can see all the users have been moved to the new group we just created. And now let's try to delete the first 3 users. And you see all the users have been moved back to the non-number group. And that's all the feature we have for the group and group membership. Thank you.
All right, moving on to the group settings page. So the group settings page can be accessed once a group is created. So here I'm just going to create another group called Sense303, and then I give it a long group name as well, project-based group. Now after the group is created, I'll just move myself to that group so that I can access the group settings page. So right here, I'm just moving myself to that group. And then on the top right corner, you can see the button that will redirect you to the group settings page. Clicking that button will redirect you to this page. And as you can see, there's showing the group members and then the group settings section. Clicking the cog button will show you, give you access to edit the settings. You can edit the group name as well, and then set up the connection to the repository. So here I just create a basic name to my repository, Sense303 repository, and then the repository ID, repository access token, and then the repository server URL are used to connect to the repository. So our application only use GitLab, so any repository in the GitLab server can be accessed, whether it's ngGit or like GitLab itself. So once once the repository is connected, just give me a second. There you go. We'll display all the commits that related to the repository. We'll try to improve the user experience by giving feedback using the spinner. We also add a filtering feature, so you can filter by author name and then branch name. So for example, here I'm filtering by author name. I would like to see the commits from username having Liu, and then all the commits in branch feature adding, let's say. So,
thanks, Chris. So our evidence and high-fiving features. So first of all, I'll be navigating to the evidence page, so all users' evidence is viewable from their profile. And you can see there we've got one piece of evidence. I'm logged in as myself. So first off, I'll add a new piece of evidence. Add in the title. I've got Send CO2 report there. Add in a description, along with the date. And then I'm also going to add a web link. So the web link for this one is going to be the link to the Google Doc of the document. And then we're also going to add some skill tags. So skill tags represent basically anything you want at that point in time. But for this example, I've got written communication, writing skills, report writing, to represent what I feel like I've learnt during that piece of evidence. And then finally adding a category. So you can see that we've got a new piece of evidence in there. Another obviously important feature is the ability to delete pieces of evidence. So here I've just added another piece of evidence with accidentally a Netflix web link instead. So the ability to delete evidence. Also, if if you have a skill on a piece of evidence that is only linked to that certain piece of evidence, it will remove that skill tag as well. So all of our skill tags are clickable from either the piece of evidence or the side panel. Clicking on a skill tag will take you to the page demonstrating all of the skill tags relevant to, all the pieces of evidence relevant to that skill tag. We also have a no skill tag filter, which shows all the pieces of evidence that aren't related to a skill. Similarly, you can filter by category. So next is the ability to high five, which is similar to liking a piece of social media. When you like, you receive a notification, and the list of users who have liked the high fived piece of evidence is updated. So here I'm logged in as Harper on one side, and then myself on the other side. I go to my profile from Harper's. When I like a piece of evidence, you can see that currently I'm the only one who's liked my piece of evidence. Now Harper will like a piece of evidence for me, and I will receive a notification that he has done so. And the list of users who have high-fived a piece of evidence is also updated. If he removes his high five, I will not receive a notification, which is probably for the best. And the list of users will be automatically updated as well.
So from the header, another page you can access is the users page. It shows a table of all the registered users, and you can swap between pages with these buttons at the bottom, and you can sort by first name, last name, etc. by clicking the columns at the top. If I go off the page and then back onto the page, it saves how I've sorted the table. It's sorted by username, and it's kept me on page 5. Now, if you're viewing this page as a teacher or course admin, you can also add roles to users. You can do that by clicking that plus button there. It will give you a drop down of all the available roles you can add to a user, and if you click it, it'll add the role to the user. And by clicking the red X buttons, you can delete roles from users. You can see only that one user has red X buttons next to their roles, because users must have at least one role. Another page is the leaderboard page. This shows all the students registered on the application and gives them a rank and score based on the number of evidence pieces they have. The top 3 ranked students are coloured gold, silver, and bronze. And if you see a user with a big score, you can click on their profile. You can click on their row on the leaderboard to be taken to their profile and see what kind of evidence pieces they have. One cool feature about this evidence page is that it stays updated no matter what without the need to refresh. So if I go back to the users page and remove the student role from the top ranked student, you can see that the leaderboard updates and a little notification pops up at the bottom right corner. If I re-add the student role to this user, the leaderboard reverts to looking how it did before with a similar notification. And if I go to my profile and add a piece of evidence, let's call it black box testing, and give it the acceptance testing skill tag. The leaderboard updates again. I'm now rank 3, so I've got the nice bronze colouring. But if I delete a piece of evidence, my score will decrease, and I'm back at rank 5.
All right. So one of our best design decision that we've made is switching from full page reload to partial reloading. So to put it simply, how we implement it is we change a certain section of the page into a fragment, and then after a certain action, we only reload the fragment, not the whole page. So here, for example, I'll give you the group page, and then so we make the group member, the members list as a fragment, and then after the action, which is selecting a group, which is inside the blue box, it updates only the whatever inside the red box, which is the fragment. So why do we think it's really important and really necessary, and then it's right thing to do? Because first, we want to improve our user experience using our application. And then the other thing is full page reload doesn't work really well with our implementation of live notification and using WebSocket, which is our key features and kind of like the backbone of our application. So, well, on the other hand, partial reloading works really well, and then it really improves our user experience. I mean, it works really well with the WebSocket and then the live notification.
So another important design decision that we had to make was how we wanted to display our pieces of evidence. So as you saw, we ended up going with an extra tab in the profile page. So we had three main options, and this kind of sort of describes our decision-making process. So our first option was to create an entirely new page for displaying evidence, but our project is already full of quite a few pages, so we decided that probably wasn't the best way to go. Second option was to create a new section in an existing page, but we hadn't really had a design for sections as such, so we decided also not to go with that because we would have to have whole lot more time redesigning a new feature. The third option was to use tabs, which we'd already used for deadlines, events, and milestones. So we could basically replicate that code, and yeah, so we decided to go with that option.
So something we learned early on in the year is that we're not fans of manually testing our application because it's slow, tedious, boring, and the tests have to be run over and over throughout the year to make sure features still work. So we tried to automate this process a bit to lessen the manual testing workload by introducing automated GUI tests, and it requires a lot of upfront coding in order to automate the process of a user clicking through our application to perform some sort of task, such as adding a sprint to our project. But after the upfront work has been done, you can run the tests as many times as you want, and they run really fast, much faster than a human performing the test on their own. I've included a little GIF in the presentation on the right where you can see one of the manual tests, automated tests running, and clicking and typing actions are done really fast. The main time consumption is just from loading pages. One drawback to this approach is that if the user interface changes, then more time will also be required to change the test to make sure it works with the new interface, which we did experience in our project. So to get the best of both worlds, we had an approach that used manual testing and automated testing, where we did manual testing for complex tasks that would take a long time to automate, and automated testing for simple tasks that would be pretty quick to automate.
The ability to share knowledge through a team is crucial for effective development. We found that at the start of the year, we had many members that were acting as silos, members with crucial knowledge about features that others did not know. This was because a lot of members weren't documenting key information, and it also led other members to then be unfamiliar with the code base and led to an overall unfamiliar code vision that wasn't shared between the group. We implemented 4 strategies to try and fix and resolve these issues or mitigate it as much as possible, and to provide as much shared knowledge to the team as we could. That was to first add better documentation for our spikes. This was done through our GitLab wiki page, where we started to organize and better document as we went in sprints key information with helpful diagrams and displays. We also began to more incentivize pair programming, as it helped people become less of silos and share their information with other users without them having to go seek it out themselves. Doing more co-location work and mandating it so that we were able to better unify our application vision and share a more unified image of it. And finally, we started to set up a more formalized process for merge requests. But this relates to another thing we learned as we went on, which was to formalize our work processes. At the start, we had many review bottlenecks and many problems with setting up reviews to be done quickly and efficiently, as members weren't sure when the reviews were being put up and weren't sure about the process to undertake them, which led to issues where members would either ignore or write poor quality reviews. This led to issue-prone mergers after the fact, where proper testing wasn't done, and therefore later on, when testing was implemented, we realized that things weren't working how we intended. To fix this issue, we started formalizing better and setting up more structure to our processes as we were going. This was done from mandating the use of GitLab to use its merge request system, and to set up a template system that has a checklist for the reviewer to be able to ensure that quality is meeting our expectation, and for the reviewee to link their manual testing, which was stored on a separate document directly to our merge request, which allowed for easy and quick retesting of any manual testing done. We also had an issue where a multi-site approach was causing confusion of where to document exact work. To better fix this, we started to implement a Slack bot so we could get constant updates from our GitLab within specific channels, and also, as mentioned before, our merge requests had specific areas to link manual testing documents. Overall, this helped us to better formalize our processes and to work more efficiently in taking on more workload.
One of the war stories of this year was getting WebSockets working. It took months for us to get it working on the virtual machines or the deployed versions. After I spent hours trying small fixes in order to get it working, I finally gave it up and gave the task back to the team. After I stopped working on it, Chris managed to get it working within a week. Icon positioning on the planner was also a nightmare. Solutions would often only work on some browsers, but not all of them. Some solutions broke some of the time, and it was taking a lot of hours to get fixed. Luckily, after fiddling with the CSS styling for a long time, we were able to finally get a working multi-planner.
Thank you very much.